It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
We are back. Cats Talk Wednesday. Terry T.B. Brown is back. He was out last week. Vinny Hardy, BS3 Network. Follow us. We live streaming YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, BS3 Network, BS3Network.com. Up later on Roku, Spotify, and all that. TB is back. Like we said, he was out last week. Back home watching. Lauren. Can't say Little Miss, like you said. You got to watching your youngest daughter do her thing in track. So you was going back to the Ville, Louisville, Lexington, all over the bluegrass.
Yeah.
So, missed you last week. My guy John Dunston from Harlan County came in and we chopped it up and held it down for you. And he wanted to pass along that he enjoys watching us. He's out in California now, but he was coming back home last week as well. But I always makes a point to watch us and enjoys watching. So I said, make sure I pass that on to you. And appreciate him filling in last week. We had fun, but glad to have you back and get the updates on what's going on with you got me want to say Little Miss Lauren's track career, and how was the trip back home? How was everything, man?
It was good. It was a good drive. I have to drive through two of my least favorite states. Got to go through Illinois and Indiana to get back home, and I'm never a big fan of that. But good travels, and like I said, left that Friday, drove straight through Friday after work, got into Louisville about 3:30 because the state track meet started at 8.
Uh-huh.
And I woke up and I'm like, man, woo, because I'm still in Louisville, right? So I woke up at 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. So I texted my daughter, and she no, her race wasn't till 11:45. I said, sweet. So I went back to sleep, woke up and went. And look, I always forget, and you know how it is when you're away from home and you go back. I forget just how beautiful Central Kentucky is. Like, it's just beautiful. Like once you get out of Shelby County, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, man. And so that's always great. It's always great to go back to Lexington and everything, and go back to the track stadium. Completely different. Like the Kerwin Blanding is gone. They're like all the sites that I'm used to seeing gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody's like, they've been gone for like 5 or 6 years. I'm like, whatever. Whatever. But it was great. So I did all that, and she ran for a minute, and then I went back home. So, but the thing is, was it worth it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
She broke her toe the Tuesday before.
Mm.
And I'm like, are you still going to run? She's like, yeah, I'm going to run. I said, okay. I mean, whatever. I said, just do your best. Found me a nice spot to watch the race.
Yeah.
Not at the finish line, but in the turn for home, because she ran the 400 meters.
Okay.
And so, and it was a good crowd. It was, I'd never been to the high school state meets before, but it was great. She was the only representative from her school to qualify for the state tournament.
Okay. Wow.
So that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But getting there and seeing her before she raced, and I said, just do your best. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And she set a personal record in the 400 meters on a broken toe.
Yeah.
And I asked her about it, and she said, I wanted to give you a show. I said, well, me, okay. All right, baby. All right. Talked to her coach and everything, and she's focused on the 400. She gonna be my go Sid go. Now she's not doing hurdles. She's just doing the regular 400.
Uh-huh.
But I've been going back and forth with our man Van Hiles, right? You know, he's way into track. And so I've been sending him what she's been doing and send him video. And he's like, she's got good leg kick, all that kind of stuff. She finished 9th. Happy about that. For her first year, she trimmed about 8 seconds off her time over the course of the season, which in track is crazy. You remember? I think it was the '92 Olympics. I think it was a British track guy who was running something, and he pulled his hamstring in one of the turns, and he's trying to make it, and his dad comes down out of the stands, right? And they have that moment. I'm thinking about it. I'm tearing up right now. But his dad, I need to get their names, but you know what I'm talking about, that moment where like the track official comes up and the dad's like, get out of my face. Well, Lauren gave everything she had down that back stretch, and she fell and kind of stumbled past the finish line. And she was laying there. I was this close to hopping the fence, and but luckily she got up. But I was like, oh yeah. Not that I wanted any glory, but when your kid falls, you parent mode, right? I ain't worried about rules and regulations, sir, because I was ready to do that against myself, but she got up, and it's just fantastic. You know how it is. I keep saying how great it is when you watch your kids do something and achieve something. And like I told her, I said, you did your best. I said, 9th place is nothing to be sad about.
No.
I said, there's 120 counties, right? There's hundreds of high schools, and there's hundreds of kids participating. And I said, and you qualified, and you finished 9th out of I can't remember the total, but I was like, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure.
For your first year on a broke toe.
Yeah.
Like, let me just and I told her, I said, I don't know how you did it because I stubbed my toe and I'm out for a minute.
Yeah.
But she showed it to me. It's all purple and stuff. I'm like, how are you? But she just did it raw, no wrapping, no nothing. She said, I can push through for a minute.
Yeah. And so to make a personal best, I mean, on a broken toe, that's finishing the year strong. And, we talk about momentum. Or you win a bowl game, and that carries into spring practice and all that. She got momentum going into year 2 because now she'll have that experience, and she knows what the deal is. And,
yeah. And the coach wants her to focus on the 400. Maybe the 2, but the 4 is going to be her race. And I'm like, awesome. And so then she says, because at the track facility, of course, there's a big poster of Masai Russell and Sid and Abby. It's Abby Steiner. Because there's 2 Abbies, right? There's Steiner and Stumler. One's volleyball, one's track. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, but track.
Yeah, but there's a big picture, and I took a picture of it, but it's like champions made here or something like that. And Lauren's like, hey, this is a nice track. Might want to get to this, might want to come back to. I said, oh man. I said, if you get on at UK running track, cancel Christmas. I'm burning up freaking flyer miles, baby. I am. Woo-wee. Don't get me started. Like, love both of them. Both of them are doing great, their respective things, and Sarah's doing great up at Aurora. But to be fair, it'll be a little something special if Lauren puts on that blue and white.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. Gonna be a little something. Just a little scooch different. But she's doing great. My mom's doing great. Got some indies. Didn't make it to Sharks this time, but we got some indies and just had a good time. I enjoy going back and everything. So we're back here to Iowa, and it's actually hot now. So there you go. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I appreciate that. I brag on the girls because they ain't got nothing to do with me. Like I see some of these parents, and it's like at some point it's just a kid doing what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I, I basically I told her, I said the only thing I did was help you learn how to tie your shoes. That's the contribution that I've made, and my mom was like, "Oh, we got a little FloJo to take it back."
That's man. So congratulations, and looking forward to the next season. So keep up the good work, both of them. Good work.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, she's in Europe now, and she'll be here in August because we're going to a concert.
There you go.
A festival, a music festival.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so we will see how that goes. It's a 3-day festival.
It's gonna go great.
But I said you only get 1 day.
Man,
I'm an old person, Vinny. I ain't built for heat. Probably porta potties and stuff. The way I do business, that ain't my thing anymore. So we're gonna go see the only person I know on the day we're going, or for the whole festival, is Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
I've heard of him. I don't know any songs, but I've heard of him. So we'll see how that goes. But she's like, "Oh, the so and so's will be there." I'm like, "All right." And I felt kind of how my parents did way back when. I'm trying to talk about New Edition and things like that. Oh, get on out of here with that! Like,
yeah. And, so you got 1 day, and you might have fun. She might get 2 out of you, but hey, at least you got 1.
Yeah. She found a festival about 15 minutes from the house, from right here. So, so excited.
Yeah, summer fun around the corner. Sure enough.
Yeah.
And we gotta hope Michelle's on the mend. She's talking about the knee and the broke nose and 2 black eyes, and Marco Island, Florida wore her out, she said. So Michelle, hope you said you had nothing but time, so we appreciate you watching and listening, and hopefully you're resting comfortably from everything you got going on. But my goodness, you'll feel better soon. Oh, TV, you said you ain't, I don't know if we was recording or not. You said you're not giving Louisville credit for anything. That was before we started. Because your wife with the White Sox, because you got the White Sox hat on. So yeah, your better half gives the White Sox no credit. You give Louisville no credit. But Vince Marrow gave himself to Louisville, I guess, by heading on over there. I don't know if it's official yet, but I guess they getting all that lined out, and he's gonna be the GM for Jeff Brom and the Cards this fall. So
yeah, he pulled a reverse TB, went from Lexington to Louisville. I know the thing is the optics are bad.
Ooh.
Like the optics are just bad. I don't know what's going to happen with the football program, because it feels like this is a lame duck season for Stoops. But the thing is, you can't have a lame duck season in big time college athletics because everything stops. Come to find out, reading all these tweets, apparently boosters didn't know he was leaving. People didn't know Vince was leaving. And so now you're going into a campaign where it's basically he's got to make the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's got to get to 8 or 9 wins, which, I don't know. And so right now, if we say that this is going to be the last season for Mark Stoops, momentum has stopped for football.
Yes, goodness.
Like momentum has just, and I don't know how you get it back. Can you do it with the new revenue sharing, maybe, but this is Kentucky football, right? And I would position this is, and I don't want to use hyperbole, but I think the program is worse off now than when Stoops took over.
That's hard to do, boy.
And what I mean by that is, everybody's like, oh, Joker, right? That always pops up. And I love Papa Brooks, but he only got 7 wins, right? Stoops had 2 10-win seasons in 2 or 3 years of each other, which doubled our 10 wins. So, to get to that peak and to now be that low in the valley, because the last 2 years, Kentucky's got 2 SEC wins at home. Or
it's bad.
I think it's 2. Vanderbilt's got 2. It's bad. And you and I talked about this. We didn't take advantage when the SEC East was down.
Mm-hmm.
We dropped some games we shouldn't have dropped because the opportunity was there to go to Atlanta.
Yep.
I don't have the seasons in front of me, but I know one year is beat a mediocre Tennessee team.
Yep.
Right? Don't drop games to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Because it was right there, right? We had won 8 of 9 against Vandy, 6 of 8 against South Carolina, something like that.
Missouri.
With Missouri.
Yeah.
And they'd gotten where we were 500 against Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did. I think it's one of those things. Were we able to reach Atlanta? I think the trajectory is different.
I mean, it's just Wildcat recap. Praying for John Summerall. I mean, he's winning everywhere he's been so far, and so his resume is looking good for whatever he wants to do.
You got to back the Brinks truck up to it, right? I don't care what you got to do. Throw in the castle. Throw in a couple of racing horses and a distillery or 2. Whatever you got to do to get Summerall back to the Bluegrass, you do it.
Yeah.
But that being said, even if Nick Saban were to show up, it's going to be a tough road to hoe.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that adding Texas and Oklahoma, right? And the schedule and it's going to be a tough road to hoe to get back to respectable. I mean, it's to the point now where it's I just want to be respectable again, and those teams don't respect us.
Yeah. It was fun. It felt good to be respected. Where they talking about you, the talking heads are talking about you, not on the level of Georgia and Florida, but second tier. You legit second tier getting talked about. You legit are a problem for everybody in the conference. You had an identity. It was you're physical, big blue wall. You're gonna run it down the throat. You're gonna you winning 8, 9, 10 games. You winning bowl games, beat Iowa, who you say Kentucky should model themselves after, went and beat them in a bowl game, beat Penn State, a name brand in a bowl game. It felt good to whoever you turn on, College Football Today, Fine Bomb, whatever, they had to say good stuff about Stoops in Kentucky. You see Will Levis on here, Benny Snell on shows, Josh Allen getting drafted top 10. That felt nice. And now, like you said, I thought about it. I wondered to myself, I said, is he going to leave it worse than he found it? I was kind of kicking that around, and you actually said it. So if you're Mark Stoops, if Terry Brown has been coaching Kentucky for 12 years, started out 2-10, replaced Joker Phillips, took it to the heights you took it to, your boy, your homie from Youngstown, Ohio, bounces to go to Louisville, the rival, that you had the upper hand in that series too. Now,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah,
what are you
because
doing? Are you having a press conference? Are you just gonna lay low to a media day? What are you doing if you?
that's my media pass for the 2018 Benny Snell game.
Oh,
And that's the thing too. It wasn't that long ago. I know it's that we played Georgia. We met Georgia as a de facto SEC East championship game.
2 different times, 2 different years.
Where I know we didn't seal the deal, but we played ourselves into that position, and now this is just a reminder that the Coach K tour, those are rare. Things usually end badly.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely are you able to do like a Jim Brown, do like a Barry Sanders and walk off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You that's usually not what happens, particularly like with coaches. Phil Jackson, his last season in LA, 2011, got swept by Dallas out the playoffs. Like sometimes it just ends like that. It just and here we are. I think it's easier to bring in a Mark Pope for basketball than it is to find somebody for football, for Kentucky football, because it's just not built like basketball is. But like I was saying to you, I think before you hopped on, the writing's on the wall, man. If your homeboy's like, hey, I gotta go. That's rough because they've been road dogs forever and ever. And I don't blame Vince, because if he hangs around this season and Mark's gone, where does he end up?
Yeah.
So I see people like, oh, he went to Louisville, and I get the Louisville stuff. I'm setting that to the side for now. Oh, he's in the ACC. Better to be in the ACC than in the MAC. or wherever he would have ended up had he made this move in November.
Yeah, and holding his breath, hoping to be retained by whoever's coming in, because that's probably not going to happen.
Right, or find somewhere else to go. At least you get to choose your own destiny. So I ain't mad about it. The writing's on the wall. Like this next year, there's a malaise, and that's a good English word for you, over the football program.
Yeah, man.
I mean, everybody's a fan. We all want our team to win, but I've not seen anybody like, oh man, this is exciting. And I say, I'm going to watch all the games because I watch all the games.
Yep.
Except, was it 2 years ago at Vanderbilt where I'm like, yeah, we're not winning this. What are we doing here? And I took a nap, but whatever. The point is, I'm still going to be there as much as I can be. And they're still going to be 15,000 strong at Kroger Field, except it seats 60, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, because
and those pictures, it's going to look, the stands are going to look the same from Jokers last year to I'm telling. Yes. Now, have the facilities gotten better? Yes. And renovations have been made? Yes. But the football program itself, the fans don't care.
And it's hard to get us to that point. You hear what our guy Freddie Maggott used to argue, other media types argue, Kentucky is not going to say, well, Kentucky's a football state. Kentucky loves football. As much as it's known for basketball, Kentuckians love their football. And to get to the point again where it's just apathy and, like you said, the malaise, as exciting as it was watching them build and get respectable, and now to be back to the, everybody's already looking ahead to basketball already.
We are back to be. Where we're back to? They supposed to be SEC. We're back to that because we got those directional schools coming in, knowing they can make points.
And who they play the first? Is it Toledo? Actually,
Yeah.
whoever they play the first game is a good MAC. You talking about the MAC? This is supposed to be a good MAC squad that if you don't, it could easily be a tense nail biter. Everybody mad in the third quarter because oh Lord,
Yeah, and I remember those early Stoops games back in 2014 when I was covering, and it was one of those directional schools because we played like Western Michigan and we played like two Western teams back to back, and we played Eastern Kentucky that year,
yeah.
right? Where I can't remember who caught, like that was a last second almost touchdown to win that game.
Dorian Baker.
Yeah, so we're back to that now, and it's shameful because the fans have done their part.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what has been detrimental to Stoops is I understand you want to be conservative, but sometimes you gotta just let it fly.
Yo.
And in the biggest games, it felt like and feels like, I don't want to say coaching scared, but coaching cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to grind Alabama or Tennessee or Georgia. Like, well, the Georgia game last year.
Yeah.
You have to go for, like, what do we like? I understand what the numbers say. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was 4th and 3, close to midfield.
Mm-hmm.
You get with your OC, you find a play, you get with your offensive line. Hey, we believe in you guys, get it done. Now you can say he punted because he believed in his defense that played well that night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at some point you've got to be able to offensively say, this is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the successful teams did. We're going to put this in Benny Snell's stomach until you stop it, because we don't think you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are going to put this in JoJo Kemp. You remember the South Carolina game.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give this to Chris Rodriguez. We are going to give this to Boone Williams.
Oh.
That's how we did it, and that's what we got away from.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line got worse over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Mm.
And the biggest indictment of all is not bringing in a high school quarterback and developing one. That's been the bugaboo. And we've had good quarterbacks under Stoops, right? Terry Wilson, great. Steven Johnson gave us everything we could have wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to bring somebody, like, you have to be able to develop, or else we're setting ourselves up for these 1-year rentals.
Oh. You got to be able to keep an offensive coordinator. I think that went hand in hand with you couldn't get a quarterback continuity, couldn't get an OC. For how many years in a row you changing out offensive coordinators? You never had one. You rarely had one for consecutive years. I think the last guy, Bush Hamden, is going to be back. But Liam Cohen came, then he left, and then he came back, and then you tried to fire Shannon Dawson because he wasn't good. Eddie Grand has been in and out. Eddie Grand actually saved you with Lynn Bowden that 1 year too.
Yeah. With Scandrello. It. Yes. So there's a lot going on with Kentucky football. I don't know how you get it back on track, because I think of all the sports, football has the most moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a basketball coach, you need maybe one good assistant, maybe 2. But football, you got to have a staff of 20 top folks.
Mm-hmm. Every position has a coach, and
right,
coordinators, and
just because of the number of players,
mm-hmm.
it's way more complicated than other sports.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how Kentucky football gets back on track. Like I said, I'll be watching. Again, I was in the smallest crowd ever at Old Commonwealth Stadium, that Cincinnati game, and that cold, misty rain that was miserable. So I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to follow along. But man, going into this season, ain't no sunshine to pump.
No, it was. I was on Dick Gabriel's show and he was talking about it. It feels like, and I said it to him. If you're got some health problems and you know it's bad, or you got test results and you already got a feeling they're gonna be bad, you just haven't got the results yet, but you're not really optimistic. That's kind of, I think, where we haven't actually played the games yet, but
Right, and that's where we are. Is we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
and you, that is no way to run a program like that. That's not sustainable, because that's what happened to Cal. Right, he got to the point where it's like, I don't care what we do in the regular season. I want to win some of these games, but what happens when we get to the postseason? Yeah. And there was just that general, like, well, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always said after Oakland, I was like, he can't come back, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair to the players that have to shoulder that burden.
And we built for March, and then we going out in the first round. This is supposed to be our time, Courtney. That's what you said.
Yeah. And if nothing matters to, and that was the thing too. I didn't mind losing some of those Champions Classics if we were going to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something, because it got to the point with Cal. Like, look, I loved some of the big nights that players had. Love Oscar and all that kind of stuff, but if I'm being 100, like the kid said, I don't care about getting a double-double and beating Texas A&M. I don't care about beating Georgia at Coleman Coliseum. I don't care. Really, I don't care about beating Louisville. What I mean by that is I want to beat Louisville, but if we do it, I'm not celebrating, because that's what is being expected.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do something. You got to beat the name schools, and you got to do it in March. And if you're not doing either one of those, you got to go.
Yeah.
And so with the football coach, just make us respectable. Honestly, and people got mad at me when I said, just be like Iowa.
Yeah.
Just be like Iowa.
Yeah.
Because I saw some list, Iowa over the last 20 years is like a number 15 in wins in college football. And that ain't bad. Like, when I said, you know what, we should be like Iowa. Be like, oh, you're there. And like, yeah, I'm here. But Iowa always or usually finishes top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten. Again, they beat their rivals.
Yeah.
Because I want to say that over the last 10, Iowa's like 8-2 against Iowa State,
mm-hmm.
And Nebraska,
Mm.
and the rivalry with the pig, Minnesota, the Floyd of Rose. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You win those trophy games if you're college football. Yeah, they made the Big Ten championship game a couple of times, got boat raced, but okay. And you go to a decent bowl game. And I'm like, what's wrong with that?
We take a trip to Atlanta and get boat raced. If we wouldn't, you wouldn't. I mean, Kentucky going to Atlanta against Alabama and getting, beat 47-14. You don't think we would at least the excitement of getting there?
That's what I'm saying. I said a few minutes ago. It's like, if we had gotten there when the SEC East was down, we're having different conversations.
Yeah. Missouri got there and went up against Cam Newton and got blasted.
That Missouri went twice. They walked to the SEC and went twice and got boat raced both times.
Yeah.
But they've been there.
2 more times than us.
Right. Because I'm trying to think. I'd have to look this up. I need Corey Price, because the list of SEC teams that haven't been the SEC championship game is like 4 or 5, and one of those is Oklahoma that just got here.
Yeah, like was it Us and Ole Miss and Vanderbilt or something?
Yeah,
Mississippi State got in there one year.
Yeah. I think. But so I don't know how Stoops gets back on track. It's shameful that this is going to be a lame duck year. Even as the world of college athletics is changing, I think that is going to be advantageous with the revenue sharing and all that kind of stuff. But the landscape of football is changing.
Mm-hmm.
But can Kentucky football eat? Because Kentucky football is the opposite of basketball, right? Basketball, it doesn't matter what the college sports world looks like, as we've talked about before. Kentucky's going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
During segregation, integration, 3-point shot, 45-second shot clock, no shot clock, 30-second shot clock, one and done. Now we're getting older again. Kentucky eats.
Mm-hmm.
Where conversely, Kentucky football struggles.
Yeah. Mississippi State did make it in '98. The year Tennessee won it. Mississippi State won the West.
Oh,
of course, Alabama and Auburn and Florida and Georgia. Arkansas has been there. LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama. South Carolina got there in 2010.
Did they now?
They got blasted by Auburn. Maybe my mistake. Maybe Cam Newton is what blasted South Carolina.
Yeah.
So Georgia, Alabama, Missouri. Auburn beat Missouri in 2013. Alabama beat them in 2014. Let's see. So from the West, we've had Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Arkansas. Ole Miss has not made it. And Kentucky and Vanderbilt have not made it.
Yeah.
Because South Carolina has, of course, yep. Georgia and Tennessee and Florida.
Yeah.
So
Kentucky, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt.
And Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma just got here. So
yeah. And Texas made it in their first year. So
yeah. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
So we'll see. It's one. I mean, this might be a 2-win season, and my only concern is I want them to play hard and finish the season. But if you're 2-7 or 2-5, because there's that stretch where it's like Texas, Tennessee.
Yeah, end of September, 1st in October is brutal.
Yeah,
I mean,
so hey. And I'm just saying, it looked like we've mailed it in a couple of times. I'm not putting that on the players. I'm putting that on the coaches. It looks like we've mailed it in. Yeah,
Toledo at home, and they got they came out with some of the times for the first few games.
I saw that.
Today.
Yeah.
Toledo at home, and there's supposedly that's they a good MAC team coming in here. Ole Miss week 2. At home, and you went down there and beat them last year, so Lane is just dying to fix that. Eastern Michigan, and then here like you said, at South Carolina, they came to Kroger Field and they did work last year. At Georgia, home for Texas, home for Tennessee, at Auburn.
You said it's Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. Go get the hell out of here, man. Come on, man.
Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, at Auburn. Where's the bye week in there somewhere? But yeah, okay. You get a bye between Georgia and Texas. So,
whatever, man. Like
Tennessee at home, at Auburn, Florida at home, Tennessee Tech, at Vanderbilt, who's beat us how many times now? Who the last 2 times in Lexington they've won. So, and then at Louisville against Vince.
and hey, Louisville gonna be licking their chops, man.
Oh.
And I ain't mad about it. It's a look. One thing I won't get mad about is running up the score in a rivalry game, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put as many points on you as I can.
Yeah.
You know, that was I guess my one knock on Cal was put these bums away, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I especially I know Kenny is your man, but put these bums away because I'm tired of paying attention to this and everything. So hey, football, hey, it's not a good look for Vince to go.
Yeah.
But we kind of knew that this was going to be a lame duck season. And
So,
yay, verily, it's come to pass.
so if you Mark Stoops, do you like you said, I don't know if it matters. Do you have a press conference? Do you lay low until SEC media day? Everybody's gonna ask you about this whenever you're in front of a mic. Are you trying to put on a bold front now? Because media day is next month. Are you just waiting? You just being what are you doing?
At this point, I'm waiting. I'm assuming he gets paid twice a month. So I'm waiting on the 15th and the 30th, and I'm good to go. And I ain't mad at it. Like, all right. We've all worked jobs where it's like, you know what? I'm just here so I won't get fined. Make sure the checks come through.
Because nothing he would say.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it gets to the point, like with Cal, like it doesn't matter what Stoops says. He can't. He's like, oh, we're focused. All right, man. Like there's literally nothing he can say that the BBN will be like, okay, because we know what's coming. Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, or is it Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee? Whatever those three teams in a three game stretch, man. How many points? How many points are we gonna give up? 150?
Georgia, Texas, Tennessee.
You think we're gonna give up 150? All those three games?
Yeah.
Because I know Tennessee's gonna get 50. Because Heupel, he understands. I'm gonna keep scoring till the clock runs out. I hate the Vols. I respect that. Because conversely, when they go to Columbus and they get spanked. But look, man, it's not gonna be great because Stoops just needs to just come out as vanilla as you can. Just give us all the candy. We're gonna play hard. We're gonna put ourselves in a position to win. One game at a time. Like just give it all to me because it doesn't matter at this point. It just it doesn't.
41-14 Louisville last year.
Yes.
In Kroger Field.
Yes. And they coming out for blood.
Yeah.
And I ain't mad at them. It's a rivalry. Like it's what's supposed to happen.
Last year at Texas, it was actually respectable. It was 31-14. Tennessee was 28-18.
Yeah.
And Georgia was 13-12. Now, so 41. Last year, those three teams scored 72 points combined. This year, you're saying 150.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lord have mercy.
I just have a feeling it's going to be bad because again we got a new quarterback. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Like what? And here we've lost some dudes to the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
A lot of new players, a lot of new faces all over the place.
But wherever my football posters, I don't know where my football posters are here. Somewhere.
That Kroger Field up there, up in the black and white.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the 2018 poster. Right.
Yeah. So we'll get into that little dead part of July and August, and then we'll start to see all this play out at the end of August. And
but basketball, we are going to play the PD Pablos of North Carolina North Carolina raise up, and that should be fun. Look, man, I this is one thing I like about other sports. I like about how the women's basketball does it. The top teams play each other. The Blue Bloods play each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there shouldn't be a season where we don't get, I know there's Champions Classics and things like that, but I just feel like Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina should be in a rotation every year. If you don't play all three, you should play two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Every season we should have Kentucky, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, or we should just have that. I think that's good for everybody.
Growing up, that was the 5 I gauged the season by, because you had, always the end of December. It was all Saturday games a week apart.
Yeah,
you had it was in some order. Louisville, North Carolina, Indiana was back on there still, and then I always put in the 2 games against Tennessee. I'm like, those are the 5. If you go 4-1 in those 5, 5-0 in those 5, you can have a good season. Because if you hold your own in those 5, you all right. You can hold your own against whoever else is on the schedule.
Right. Or bizarrely, that stretch where we played Michigan State every year.
Yeah.
If like from the basket bowl at Ford Field to, there's that stretch. I'm like, why are we playing Michigan State? Like, there's no. But anyway, I'm excited for the basketball season. A lot of good games. I know we got the Purdue exhibition. We got Georgetown exhibition.
Yeah.
And some really, really good games. St. John's and Indiana's back on the schedule. And the Louisville game should be fun again. We'll win, but it should be a fun game.
Historically early, but it's still going to be a fun win. Yeah, because it's like November the 10th or 8th.
Yeah. It's before Veterans Day, which seems weird. and again, so I'm excited about that. But I just think college basketball, I saw today where they are changing challenges and looking at out of bounds in the last 2 minutes. The Buzz Williams rule, because for some reason every Texas A&M game was a 3.5-hour game. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Streamline it. I think they need to, and I saw they're looking at going to quarters, and I'm like, this is the only basketball organization on planet Earth that still uses halves. Why do you need to examine this when everybody else does it? High school does it. Boys and girls high school does it. Little League does it.
Yeah.
Women's college basketball does it. The WNBA does it. The NBA does it. FIBA does it. EuroLeague does it. Whatever league DeMarcus Cousins plays in has quarters.
Yeah.
but y'all got to figure it out. It is just weird.
Yeah, it is.
Because with the halves, you have it's too many free throws. That's to me, the best part of the quarters is the bonus resets. And so you're not just, 10 minutes in, now the next 10 minutes they have is just a free throw contest. That's terrible. Also, rule interpretation. We're getting a little bit of continuation in college.
Yeah.
Which Kentucky opponents had a lot of that last year. And I agree that we should have it, but it wasn't a rule before that. But just goes to show you, officials do what they want. Like, you can't get fouled, pump fake, and then go up and get like that. But that's what they got. So I think they can make the product a little bit better, because 3.5 hours for a basketball game is just too long.
Yeah.
Or 3 hours. 2.5 hours is too long.
Yep.
For 40 minutes of game time, we're here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And since ESPN, for whatever reason, won't change start times, we're going to have big I'm taking it back. We're going to have Big Monday, right? 7 and 9. And you know good and well the 7 o'clock game is not going to be over by 9 o'clock.
Nope.
What game was it last year for Kentucky that it wasn't anywhere? It wasn't on ESPN News. By the time they came back, it was like a minute left to go in the first half. You know what I'm talking about? Was it Oklahoma? Somebody needs to help me out. But there was that one. I'm like,
it was bad.
I'm following along. I'm like, you got ESPN Ocho. I can't watch this game for nothing. I'm like, well, you can go on ESPN Plus. I'll be damned if I pay for ESPN Plus. Like, I want to watch my Cats play, but you ain't getting no money off me for this. I'm gonna get my board out and show you where you got me messed up at ESPN. Just start the games on time.
Yeah. Get your programming and your blocks and all that. Get it together for sure.
Which, we're complaining about this, but 30 years ago we were still on tape delay.
Yeah. Rob Bromley and Martin Newton.
Man, I tell this story all the time. One of my favorite memories of that 96 team is they played a game at Rupp. And then later that night, we were bowling at Southland Lanes, and the team came in, and they're watching the game as they're bowling, busting each other's chops and everything. All right, bring back tape delay. Give me Jefferson Pilot. Yeah. Give me Golden Flake. Give me all that kind of stuff.
Tom Hammond and Larry Conley.
Give me sweet string music.
Yeah, Joe Dean, yeah.
Give me some of that. Take me back, man. Take me back.
Mm-hmm. True. Dave Neal was in there too.
Yeah. So
Barry Booker.
That's kind of
Barry Booker, dude from Vandy.
Oh yeah. That's the kind of stuff that strikes me when I see like old clips, that college basketball account. My college football can't show these old clips, and it's just those broadcasts. Number one, I'm offended that every game for my college career looks like it could have taken place in 1979. It looks that bad. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what?
And that was Peak Sports Center. We were watching the highlights and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But the highlight, they look bad. Like, I know HD TV is better, but were we watching games like that?
Yes.
Even like tournament games and Final Four games look bad. I'm like, was this taken like on a movie camera? like it just looks bad.
Yeah. Definitely gotta get to that too. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
I said, and people think I'm joking. I said Pacers in 7 because everybody was writing them off, and all you heard was Thunder this, Thunder gonna kill them, Oklahoma, KC, this and that, and they stole game 1. I just got a feeling we might see an upset. It's first game in Indy. I'm going Pacers. I just got a feeling they're gonna make this more of a series than people think they will.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pacers because just with those bizarre comebacks, they don't ever feel like they're out of it.
Yeah.
I know they kind of pulled back a little bit. Rick Carlisle kind of pulled back a little bit in game 2, but I think the Pacers at home.
Mm-hmm.
Because you expect your role players to play better at home. The Pacers did what they're supposed to do is you want to split those games on the road and nullify that home court advantage. So I think they hold serve and make it a series.
I'm sure they want to get off to some better starts. They don't want to be down 20 at halftime and all that kind of stuff. But I think Halliburton's going to be more aggressive. I think he's probably seen and heard that he and Alex Caruso have scored the same amount of points in this series so far. They both have 31 points. I think he's going to kind of take that a little personally. So.
Yeah. But backing up a little bit, good for the Pacers. They beat the Knicks. I do not like the Knicks. But I have to say, what did Karl Anthony Towns do to the NBA talking heads? Like, what is it? And I'm trying to figure out. I know he's a Kentucky guy, so I'm coming with that bias.
Mm-hmm.
But what did he do for people just to be so out of pocket with him? Like, I don't understand.
Gilbert Arenas.
Like, what he's done to, because Bomani's gone in on him for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand what it is about Cat that people just, it's open season. I don't get it. He seems like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was the second best player on a team that made it to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about Cat, and people are like, oh, well, his family stuff. Like, it was like 8 family members over a 2-year stretch that he lost.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, man. Like, I don't, and I'm not saying they need to not criticize, but they take it a beat too far.
I agree with that. I'll try to take the Kentucky bias away. If I'm watching him with Minnesota or New York, I'm not a fan of those teams. So I'm just, if he wins, fine. Unless he's, if he's going against the Mavericks, I'm pulling for him. But trying to take the Kentucky bias away because I don't know. The silly fouls, I can't defend the silly fouls he gets. He gets 2 or 3 dumb fouls. Like, what are you doing? Why are you hooking and holding? Why are you not moving your feet? He'll get a foul. He gets some. Like, I don't understand fouls. I love you, but I can't defend you on that.
Right. And there's things to criticize. And I'm not saying that. My barber here in town is from Minneapolis. So he's a Wolves fan. And he knows I'm a Kentucky guy. That's how they know me. We've talked. My whole thing with Towns is if you're 7 foot and they put a 6'5" dude on you, mouse in the house, you got to go to work.
There's that, yes.
Put your back on somebody and go get me a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing, because again, me and the wife were watching the WNBA and everything like that, and explaining different things like switches. If I got somebody on my back that's 5 inches shorter than I am,
mm-hmm.
clear out, mouse in the house, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So there are legitimate things to criticize beyond just his vibe or whatever, because there people just take it to a weird place. Yes, the dumb fouls.
Mm-hmm.
You a decade in, you need to not do that.
Yeah, your defense is a little
suspect. But again, who was Indiana guarding with? Like, I forgot. I can't remember who, but like, if I've got 6 inches on you, I'm going right to the block.
Yeah. So like Neesmith will get switched up on him sometimes.
Yeah. I'm like
Nimhard or something like that.
Yeah, like you need to eat. So there's legitimate things to criticize, but people just take it to a place I don't think it needs to go.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because there are way worse players in the NBA.
Yeah. I think we talk about Kentucky Louisville back for several years. Aesthetically, the game wasn't that pretty to watch. Last year it was up and down. It was high scoring. We had a lot of 58-50 games and stuff like that. Cat is like, his style, the way he gets it done may not look like people want it to look, which he can't help that. Like aesthetically, is he kind of clunky? Is he the way he goes about his business of putting up numbers on the court? Do they still go overboard with, getting personal and then out of bounds with what they say? Yes, but I don't know. It's a weird thing. There's compilations on YouTube of like him whining, "Oh my God!" every time he goes to the hole. "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" So there's that.
And I get it. He's a little goofy.
Yeah, he's corny, yeah.
And so I understand because he's
corny.
Goofy.
He's corny.
Yeah, and so I get that, but it's always talk about that. Don't go to a place. Also, basketball discourse is garbage for both the NBA and the WNBA. Gilbert Arenas has no. When I catch clips, it's entertaining, but if you actually watch an episode, those dudes don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go to get good basketball knowledge? It ain't on ESPN. It ain't on all these podcasts. And I know the leagues and commissioners don't have that kind of power, but I don't see MLB folks continually crapping on the product. I don't see NFL people continually crapping on the product. I don't see NHL people continually to crap on the product. It feels with the NBA, we've got a lot of folks in Arrested Development where we've just decided the 80s and 90s were peak basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. Look at those early 2000 games, and you can see why the game had to change.
Yeah. The Knicks Heat.
Spurs Pistons in the finals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and that went 7 games, too.
7 games, and only one time did they cross 100 points. Did one team, and that game went to overtime. Nobody's here for that, right? But we've just decided that that was peak because that's when the NBA really exploded.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wish we had better basketball conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We've run LeBron MJ into the ground 15 years ago.
Yep.
And now it's if SGA does this, where does it move all time? Let it play out, man.
Yeah.
Just we used to, and I was talking to the wife about this with the WBA. We used to have folks in the league, in the NBA, where you just said, that dude's nice. Can you win a championship with that guy? Probably not, but that dude is fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jamal Crawford because he's like, I'm just here to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or even like a Jamal Mashburn. Was he an all-time great? No. But that dude could go get you a bucket.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of and there needs to be a better job of highlighting those kinds of folks instead of debating the same, because every NBA show is where does Steph and LeBron and KD, where they rank all time, and can Ant get in that conversation? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the games.
Yep.
Tell me why we're going to see 7 straight different winners in the NBA Finals. Explain.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, and I just see all these accounts that they'll take like somebody's highlight reel, be like, this is why Kobe's awesome. And then somebody else will post out a clip of all his missed shots and bad things. And I'm like, that's basketball.
Yeah. Everybody's got that.
I saw one today. It was Gordon Hayward drove by LeBron, and then LeBron got the ball and he like blocked LeBron's shot. Somebody's like, this is your GOAT. And I'm like, but everybody gets got.
Yeah.
Like if someone was telling you, we have a debate about Hakeem, and somebody's like, well, Kevin Johnson got him. It's like the one time you always get got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, kids, Michael Jordan got got. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing defense, you're going to get got.
Mm-hmm.
We all saw Iverson cross him up.
Yep.
We saw this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets got sometimes.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting here like we're debating. I don't understand the need to continually, after every basketball game, we got to redo the top 10 all-time players. For what?
No.
Like what do we do? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, because we did that for the last 10 years, when LeBron, Steph, and KD step away, what are we going to talk about?
Yep.
We're going to have a league where people don't know who these people are.
Mm-hmm. Be scrambling to fill the void.
Yeah.
Another content.
Yeah, and don't get me started about the WNBA, the most unserious league I've seen ever.
Yeah,
Either you're pros or you're not. Because if you're a pro, we need to talk about why you're shooting 30% from the field. If you're a pro, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't come out, oh, everybody's hating. No, baby, this is what it is.
Her crown is heavy to bear.
Hey, yeah, don't get me started about the. And so if I was counseling Angel Reese, one, I would say work on your layups.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair assessment. Work on your dribbles a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing when she said, I guess this was last year, I want to be the villain, make me the villain. And I said to my lovely wife, that's not the way to go. Because most of us aren't built to be the bad guy. We think we are,
mm-hmm.
but we're not. Because if you remember when LeBron went to the Heat, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to be the bad guy.
Yep.
And they've talked about, no, you can't, that's no way to go,
mm-hmm.
right? Because that is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a mistake that was made by Joe Frazier. He was the bad guy to Muhammad Ali, and that
mm-hmm.
followed him to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Because as great as Joe Frazier was, his only entry point into the national consciousness was, oh, that was the guy that Muhammad Ali beat up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he got reduced to.
Yep.
So I would say don't be the villain. My other thing is, let's just keep it about basketball.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot 2 for 20, we should talk about it.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like a baseball pitcher. You give up 4 or 5 home runs in the first inning, somebody's going to ask you about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Most definitely.
Like that's the way it works
mm-hmm.
in sports. Unless I'm missing something.
Mm-hmm.
You're poor. Oh, you all can't complain and like that's what sports. That's what this is about. If you lose, you got to explain why you lost. If you played terribly, you got to explain.
Yep.
And does it suck? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the cost of it. So they want to make the big money. They want to do all this. Well, stuff come with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just part of it.
Yep.
Like you can't dodge that and talk about, oh, my feelings. Do anybody else that loses, they don't want to come out here and sit at a press conference and talk about it. But that kind of goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Chicago Scott gets boat raced, we got to have all these think pieces about protecting. No, stop it. You lose by 25 points. Like, stop playing that card. Like, oh, everybody's out to get. No, why are you losing by 20 points?
Why people missing the cart with your cereal, in the grocery store on the regular? I'm just.
And every time a black person says anything good about Caitlin Clark or her fans, it's a thing. Because now Candace Parker is out of touch because she had that sit down with Jamel Hill. Was like, yeah, Caitlin, she up here, and now Candace Parker doesn't know what she's talking about. The same way Cynthia Cooper didn't know what she was talking about. The same way Cheryl Miller didn't know what she was talking about. Same way Rebecca Lobo. Well, Rebecca Lobo is not black, but every time somebody says something positive about Caitlin, it's like, that girl's different, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I want Angel Reese to be successful. I absolutely do. I'm rooting for all these people. But if you can't hit a layup, you can't be elite.
Yeah.
Well, what about Dennis Rodman? That's 101. Dennis Rodman is the only NBA player that you know of that averaged 6 points a game. He's the only name you know because that dude was different.
No.
Are rebounds a big part of the game? Yes. Is being a good rebounder an elite skill? Yes. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about how Oscar Tshiebwe needs to be an NBA All-Star because he can rebound the ball really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how this goes. I stay frustrated with the WNBA but this is the most unserious organization I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah.
Do you want new people or not? I know you want the money, but do you want the people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anywho, basketball discourse is just, it's garbage.
That's true.
It's just hot garbage.
So we'll come back to the W because we're going to be here all summer. Got some big three coming up. Got some TBT coming up. So we'll ride those waves until this football season gets here. And,
now, my college football, I'm gonna watch. Yeah. My NFL football, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Netflix coming out with a documentary on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. I'm gonna watch it, buddy. I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, August 19th. So yeah,
because this boy is gonna be great. I'm gonna get a thing of popcorn and watch that bad boy because I'm
truth that we don't know.
Because I know we're gonna get Jerry buying the team and sending Tom Landry out and the 1-15 season, and they're gonna talk about the 3 Super Bowls. Yeah. I'm gonna fast forward through that part because I'm not interested in that. Yeah, they won. Good for them. I'm here for the next 30 years of Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, the truth you don't. So you'll get the truth you don't know, TB. That's what's coming.
Give me that. Was it Jason Garrett, the 8-8? Was it Jason? Was it Jason Garrett? You might get a 9-7. You might get a 7-9. That Jeff Fisher special.
You got a run of 8-8s. I think 3 straight 8-8s, and then you lose the last game against a division opponent, win and you're in, and they lost every time. Like lost to the Philly, got blown out, lost to Washington, and didn't make. Yeah. So you had 3 8-8s. Then you had, I think, a 12-4, and then a 4-12, which still averaged out to 8-8.
That's right. I'm gonna watch that documentary. I know when to fast forward. All right.
The Gambler and his Cowboys.
You think I'm gonna rewatch some of them championship games? No, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
not gonna rewatch that. Give me the tabloid stuff.
There was plenty of that. Oh, appreciate it, Michelle. 11, 12 years, something like that.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
They piling up for sure. But thank you for being there every episode. Pre-video. Now you're watching us and still following along. We appreciate you.
But I'm gonna watch the Cowboys documentary. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be something to pass the summer, get us to football with. That's it. So.
Was it what's the ranch?
Valley Ranch.
Valley, yeah. I need Michael Irvin in the
White House.
The White House. I need that.
There's your tabloids, man. The White House. Troy Aikman showed up to that trial too, boy. Go support my guy. He's court.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it's summertime. It's
That's it. Hey, appreciate y'all watching, listening. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. You get it every week. It'll come right to your device. If you listen on Spotify, go and give us a little rating. Hit the 5 stars. We would appreciate it. That little stuff helps the show grow and all that stuff. So if y'all got a minute, just subscribe and rate, and we be grateful. Thank you again, Michelle. Thank you, TV.
Yes, sir.
Glad you had a safe trip home. Glad you're back. Glad everybody's doing good. And look, we'll be back next week. We'll see what happens with these finals. About to watch Game 3 as we speak.
Yes, sir.
Cats Talk Wednesday, BS3 Network. We'll see y'all next week. Go Cats.